Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently about ready for this burn here. No, I don't want an alarm. Thank you very much. This burn, of course, is going to be our transfer burn, and that is absolutely great. I want to look at this. I did restart the game, so yeah, that's about perfect. I mean, it's not exactly perfect, but it's definitely close enough. So let's go ahead and get this burn started here in about 30 seconds. So we're going to be ditching all of this fuel eventually, but we've got 2,700 meters per second in these outer tanks here. So no issue whatsoever there. And let's get rid of that. Thank you very much. So we've got about 12 seconds at this point before this burn begins. And that's absolutely wonderful. So we'll commence this in 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Hold attitude on the node, please. Back we go. It doesn't matter if we miss the timing on this a little bit. That was just because I restarted the game and Smart ASS is not correctly selected here. It looked correctly selected, but you have to unselect it and then reselect it to get it to actually work. I wish it didn't work that way, but unfortunately it does. So that made us be a little bit late in this burn, but that shouldn't substantially affect our situation. This is such a long orbital period at this point that being a couple seconds late isn't going to significantly affect our trajectory, unlike if we were in a really tight orbit around something. But we're not in that situation, so it should be absolutely fine here. So we'll finish off this burn, and that should be absolutely great. We've only got about 15 seconds left on it. This thing is quite high thrust to weight, 0.76, and that's just going to get better. Okay, so we've got about 50 meters per second left here. We're kind of struggling to keep up with the node, so I cut it a little bit so that we can keep up. Our turn rate is not phenomenal, after all. It's okay. It's not terrible, but it's not the best. Okay, let's get this completed, the last little bit here, and we'll see how we did. Probably not great. Okay, let's just head over towards prograde for right now, and yeah, that's a pretty big overshoot. Okay, so, or undershoot. I'm actually not sure which. We will find out. We need to tune this down, and we need to do it sooner rather than later. So I'm going to create ourselves a maneuver node. This is in 2 days. I guess that's fine. It doesn't really matter so much when we do this burn, but we do... Oh, that's sensitive. Okay. That's very sensitive. So we just need to back this off a little bit. That's currently an Ike encounter. It's okay. I don't mind an Ike encounter over on that side. It won't actually happen. We just need to dial this back in. Oh, that was rude. Okay, that's what we need. So this is 0.3 meters per second of corrective burn. I'm going to thrust limit us right on down to 0.5%. That's now a 3-second burn. And we're going to turn here. I'm not going to do the timing. We're not going to move forward 2 days. We're just going to align to this position and get the burn completed. And we'll try to eyeball it a little bit. So that should be reasonably fine at this point. And we should be coming in prograde, I believe. Yeah, we'll be coming in this way. That should be absolutely fine. Okay, we're in position for this burn now, and let's just very, very gently commence the burn. So you can see at this point, yeah, we're bringing that periapsis right on in. We can turn this up a little bit. So it was a very slight overshoot. Okay, that is 41 kilometers. That's pretty close if we wanted to aero capture, but I don't want to aero capture, especially not with that deployed solar panel that we can't undeploy. Let's just go ahead and hold here. This is going to be on orbital retrograde, and I want to very cautiously move this out a little bit. One more. That'll do. Okay, so that looks good. Our inclination, not perfect, but that's absolutely fine. Okay, so now the question is, I'm going to quick save here. If we warp, is that going to change a significant amount? Let's find out. Let's warp here. That's in 308 days. So that's going to be a pretty lengthy warp, but okay, that did not significantly change. Beautiful. That's exactly what we want. This is going to be a pretty long warp. I'm not going to make you sit through it. We will be back about when this is done. See you guys in just a moment. Okay, so here we are, just having entered the sphere of influence of Duna. So at this point, I want to see how far off we are on this. Actually, this ascending node is in a pretty decent spot. So I'm going to pin this open, and we're going to do our maneuver here, and that kind of made it go away. Yeah, I have no idea where this is going to be. Okay, we'll have to do it after our braking burn, I think. That's with the descending node at 3.1. And now I can't drag this. Okay, there we go. Maybe we can do this here. 0.2, 0.1, and 0.0. Okay, that should be basically perfectly equatorial. And that'll happen quite a long time before this burn, in theory. Yeah, that's like 5 minutes before the burn. So there's that. We'll see if we have enough time. Right now we're thrust limited and we need to unthrust limit. This is going to be an 8-second burn. Yeah, we got time. So we'll align to that note. Seems absolutely great. And this is a pretty decent order to do this in, I think. So we'll fix our inclination before we get our braking burn going here. And let's warp on forward to that. At this point, I'm not expecting significant changes to our apoapsis and periapsis from warping. I mean, I'm never expecting that. That's not how anything works. But it's a bit of a bug. Okay, so we've got a few seconds here on this burn. 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, let's get that inclination fixed. Nice and quick here. 0.7 meters per second, huh? Okay. That's noted. We're chasing the node at this point a little bit. Let's physics warp this. There we go. Okay. Last little bit of burn here. 0.0 meters per second. I like it. Let's start moving to retrograde because we're going to need it. So right out over here in 4 minutes, we want to do a retrograde burn, and this is going to bring us in to simply be not this. We overshot it a little bit. Let's bring that back out. Simply circularize. That's all we're looking for here. Yeah, right about there. That'll do. So that's 654.3 meters per second. We'll move to the node. We were already heading in that direction because we knew it was going to be a retrograde burn, but we're just going to position for that node. We've got plenty of time here. I like it. So 654.3 meters per second. Not bad. We've got lots of delta V left over. Ridiculous amounts of delta V left over, actually. This is extraordinarily overbuilt. But, I mean, that's normal. So we've got about 2 minutes here. Let's warp forward a little bit. And that's looking great. We'll double check our inclination after we're done with this. It should be good, though. So 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and can't really see it. 2, 1, 0, mark. There we go. Hard to read that orange against the color of Duna. Why are you not on the node? Can you not? This is really bad timing to not have Smart ASS actually be holding on the node. I don't know why it didn't. That was weird. Okay, what's going on here? There's something wrong here. Okay, we're turning back. I'm wondering if we have some uneven fuel flow. Just hold on retrograde. We're going to have to take this around another time, I think. Yeah, we're definitely having some awkward kick here. Okay. It's fine for the moment. Wait, now we're able to hold on the node. That's bizarre. I have no idea what happened there. That was very strange. Did we lose connectivity? We shouldn't have, but maybe we had a... I didn't look up here. I'd have to go back and check the video. Maybe we had a situation where... Okay, our periapsis is way too low now. I was very distracted. We'll have to correct this. That's okay. Maybe we had a situation where we had occlusion and we just didn't have probe control for a little bit. That's a possibility. But we're basically not exactly in the orbit we want to be in. We're going to need to do some correction to this orbit for sure. I'm going to move us to radial out, which will be this right up over here. And we're going to pull our periapsis. That's pulling our periapsis down. Yeah, that would make sense. We need to go to radial in. I know that feels really, really strange, but it's because we're going up right now. So we need to go to radial in, burn towards the planet, and bring our periapsis up and our apoapsis down at this point. I'm going to get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. I'm guessing that it was a probe control issue, but that felt very strange. Okay, so we're going to position here, and I'm going to do a burn here until such a time as our apoapsis is a little bit better. Okay. We're past the apoapsis at this point. We need to hop over to prograde. So we did manage to raise our periapsis and drop our apoapsis some there, but we need to continue to correct this orbit. Good thing we have way too much fuel. Okay, so back over at prograde, we're going to pull our periapsis up. And I'm going to target that about there. 51 kilometers seems good. Now, our inclination is off a little bit. I'm not going to fix that here. I'm going to go here, and we're just going to pull this down and circularize, hopefully correctly this time. Hopefully we'll be able to hold attitude. That would be nice. I'm guessing we must have had loss of probe control there for a little bit. We don't have perfectly... We don't have perfectly contiguous probe control. We know that. It's good enough, but it's not absolutely 110% perfect. But we're not in a dangerous position as of right now, so that seems fine. We were in a dangerous position for a little bit there. Okay, so we've got about 1 minute here. We'll get the rest of this turning completed. There we go. And 40 seconds. 30, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay. This is good enough. I'm content with that orbit. So at this point, I want to head over to the descending node, and I want to fix this. We're 0.3 degrees off, so we can absolutely tweak that a little bit and have that be somewhere around here. So that's 5 meters per second, and we'll head over to that node. We should probably throttle this down. I'm going to put this at 0.5% thrust for right now. Never mind, that's a 1 minute burn. Let's try 10% thrust. That's a 2-second burn. That's a lot better. Okay, let's get angled here and get our inclination fixed. Excellent. Yeah, that was certainly a little awkward, but nothing we couldn't handle, so it's all good. Cool. We'll warp forward a little bit. 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, and 30 seconds, 20, 10 seconds, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, 0.3 meters per second off. How are we looking? This is probably good enough, right? Yeah, that's definitely good enough. Okay, so at this point, we are at a position where the base is in darkness. It's on the dark side at this point. So we need to warp forward until it's no longer in the dark side. So let that come right on around. Okay, this is looking much better. So now we're going to be angling to come down somewhere around here or so, but we need to warp a lot closer to find out where this is actually going to be. Yeah, see, this is moving quite a lot here. We're definitely going to want to change that burn time. No doubt about that. So let's have that be more like over here or so. We've got a lot of extra delta V, so I want to overshoot this a decent amount. Yeah, we'll see about that. Let's warp forward a couple of additional minutes. A little further. Okay. Now, we want to unthrust limit. You can see that the game is very confused about what we're doing right now. But there we go. 2? Really? Okay, let's head over to that node. We'll retract our solar panels that we can. And we'll retract this antenna as well, assuming we've still got a connection, which we should. And I'm going to move out this node a little. Actually, I think I'm going to... We're not in a good position for this. I'm going to add an orbit. So we were just not angled well for that. We'll take another orbit. It's not a big deal. So we'll get oriented here. We'll warp around one more orbit. We'll have to change this, make this later. The question is by how much? And as of right now, I'm feeling like it'll probably be about there-ish. No, it's going to be even further than that. Okay, that's absolutely fine. We'll just move this guy to be about here-ish. Yeah, that's a lot better. Let's warp forward a couple more minutes here. Okay, that seems decent. Why is this saying start burn in 43 minutes? This should be on this orbit at this point. There we go. Start burn in 12 seconds. That's more like it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, we've got a lot of extra fuel here. We're not even going to burn off all of these side tank fuels, so that's, you know, exciting. We're going to have to ditch some of that soon enough, but this is okay for now. Okay, so we're bringing our orbit right on down. I'm setting the landing pad base as target here. And we're probably... I overshot it a little bit. That's fine. Bring this over to surface velocity minus, please. Don't really want to be in target mode right now. This is in surface mode at this moment, and that's probably fine. Okay, we're passing over the base here shortly. I'm going to commence an additional horizontal velocity minus burn. Oh, we're in physics warp. Hang on. Let's exit physics warp. Okay. I want to look at our relative target velocity here. Hang on. We're definitely overshooting that. Yeah. Okay, let's burn towards target, kind of. Well, not really. Relative velocity minus. Let's go to relative velocity minus for right now. Okay, yeah, we can definitely see that we're going to want to make a small correction here, which I do want to do. Yeah, right at about there. So now I'm going to ditch this fuel, or some of it. I'm going to ditch the side tanks at this time. So off they go. That's wasted fuel, to be sure, but we're just going to bring this right on around. I'm going to activate our parachutes. So parachutes are now active, and I'm guessing, yeah, we need a little bit more direction in this way. I'm putting this on kill rot for right now, and... Ooh, that's very sensitive. Okay. But I want to burn us out over this way. It really doesn't want to sit like this. Okay. Over to relative velocity minus. So we're overshooting it. That's absolutely understood. We're currently tumbling a little bit, but we should be able to bring that back around, I think. Just burning a little bit there, and relative velocity minus, I want to be at so we can see basically where we're looking at being. Yeah, we want to do a little bit of correction here. Okay. Kill rot, please. Now we move to relative velocity minus. Okay, we still have a little bit of horizontal speed, but I don't actually care as of right now. We're pretty close, but we're coming down too much this way, aren't we? We do need to go back over this direction a little bit. So I'm putting us back into kill rot for now and struggling to get us turned in this atmosphere. But we need to go out over this way. Okay. Now we go to relative velocity minus. And we hold here for a moment. Yeah, we're in an awkward tumble, and I'd really like to not be facing this direction right now. Okay, let's bring this back around. There we go. Okay, we got most of that dealt with. Still just doing a quick correction here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm just going to accept what we've got. So I'm going to decouple. And off goes that tank. Hopefully we don't bomb the location, but it should be fine. We're going to be coming down pretty close. I don't expect to have issues. The question is, I'm quick saving here because I don't know if we're coming down close enough to have to turn on unbreakable joints and no crash damage. I think we might be. It's going to be pretty close. I think we do have to. We know it's fine to land this, so I'm going to go ahead and do that just in case. This isn't to protect this craft, which will be fine. It's to protect the actual base. We're coming down close enough where this will be loaded. Almost certainly, at this point. Okay, what's our surface velocity at this point? Yeah, there's the base loading in. Absolutely, that was necessary. So surface velocity, I want to be on surface velocity minus. There we go. Okay, and our speed is down to under 10 meters per second. That was a little spicy without drogues. But it's absolutely fine. We really don't need the drogues. So at this point, we're coming down 1.4 kilometers away. By the time we get down, it's probably going to be more like 1.3, I think. Maybe 1.2 if we're lucky, but I think it'll be closer to 1.3, maybe still at 1.4. I don't want to physics warp while we've got that loaded. So there's that. Luckily, these solar panels have survived. I'm a bit shocked by that, but that is absolutely fantastic. And I don't see anything crackening out over there right now, so that's really, really good, although the frame rate is not phenomenal. So I want to be checking directionality here. I'm turning off the brakes temporarily. Wheel directionality looks good. Brakes back on. There's our touchdown, which we expected to be completely good. I'm going to turn this off. I don't know if we're going to need the traction control or not. Oh, okay. That had a lot of pep to it. I'm going to immediately switch this over to SAS only and set that to up. Okay, we need to extend these solar panels and hopefully get ourselves a little bit of excess energy flow. How are we doing on energy flow when we're accelerating? It does consume, but not very much. Okay, I'm going to turn off the steering on our back wheels. This is too much steering. We don't need that level of steering. And now none of them are steering. Right, because they're paired. Okay, we have to have this level of steering, which means brakes on. We got to be slow while we're steering. We do have a low center of gravity. So we should be relatively okay in that regard. But let's just turn this thing right on over. Apparently the antenna is our front, so that's fine. And we can accelerate this up a little bit. It doesn't need to be very much because we just need to drive right on over here. We're very, very close already, so that sounds great. This should be basically the penultimate trip to get to the base. We are going to need to bring in a few more Kerbals, but I don't know how many we're going to need to bring in yet. We will find out. I don't love the speed that we're traveling at right now, but it should actually be relatively safe as long as I don't crank a turn, which I don't intend to do. So as of right now, no electric charge issues. I'm just evaluating right now whether we're likely to run into this rock or not. And I think we are a little bit, so I'm going to very gently turn us out over this direction. Okay. So we're about 700 meters away. We should probably start thinking about how long it's going to take us to break. It does take a little while to break, for sure. But that was a little early. I was mostly just checking to see the rate at which we decelerated. We can also use our motors in the opposite direction to slow ourselves down. So that is also an option. If we did that... Oh, that's actually quite fast. Okay, good to know. So let's just cruise this thing right on in. We're about 300 meters away. We know we're going to want to be over on the far side of it, and we shouldn't have any major issues getting there. We're just going to need to be slowed down enough to make that turn without tipping over, but if we do tip over at this point, it's not the end of the world. We can just grab these parts with a Kerbal, and that's not an issue. We're now about 200 meters away, and I can definitely see some gyrations occurring on the base. So we're in full physics range at this point, and I'm going to turn on the brakes. And we're starting to go uphill as well, so that will help us to slow down. I'm also going to decelerate using our motors, which is causing us to turn a little bit. But that's okay. We're traveling at about 4 meters per second, and I'm turning off the brakes now. All we need to do is hop over here and position ourselves right over by the landing pad. And that'll be absolutely fine. It is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to get this all attached up and start working on our actual constructions. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.